Hello everyone, Darren here, and on today's episode of WoTC Academy Extra Credits, we're going to be looking at the Foch 155, specifically both guns, so double feature here. And yeah, currently there's an on-track op going on, so if you are interested in finally grinding this line, take advantage of this, get started, as you'll get additional XP for playing tanks that are part of this branch. So again, double feature here. If you aren't interested in the 120mm gun, I'll have a timestamp for you to skip to the 155. But before we begin, if you find the video helpful or informative or even enjoy it, hit that thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more videos and definitely more creative videos than just replays. So jumping right into this, the Foch 155. It's French. It's got speed. It's got armor in places, not everywhere. It's got a pretty decent gun, or guns in this case, and that's in summary, Cliff Notes version. That's basically what it is. I like to kind of, with the 120, I like to think of this as a better armored waffle, so to speak. If you remember the how dangerous that used to be. Now, full disclaimer here, yes, you see me firing premium. When I first got this vehicle, I was in a more heavy, competitive, comp scene-focused mindset. That was years ago, and my mentors at that time told me, load premium rounds as your first clip because you don't know what you're going to encounter. And so ever since then, that's kind of just been instinctively, whenever I play this tank, is to just hit the A button and load premium. That's not bashing on the standard rounds. The standard rounds do work. They you can use them with sometimes never even having to dip into the premium rounds. It's not like an IS-7 where if you aren't running premium, what are you doing? It's not like that. So jumping into the stats, I'm not going to cover every stat. I'm not that type of person. In my mind, the casual player only cares about very specific stats, and they don't need to know what the terrain resistance is going to be if they don't understand how that works. And so, yeah, jumping right into it, like I said, it's French, so it's got a 50 km/h forward speed, so you can get where you need to go, and then some relatively quickly there. If you happen to get yourself into trouble, you got 16 km/h reverse speed. It's not crazy like the 20 kilometers you may find on some medium tanks, but it's good enough to where you can dip out. You're not going to be crawling and taking hits. Now, in terms of view range, it's got 380 meters base. It's up there. It could be better. It will be better if you add optics to it. But at least in that case, you have some frontal armor to work with if you manage to hide your weak spots there. It's got pretty decent camo as well, so you can hide at the back and not really need to worry about your view range or spotting for yourself if you can get people to spot for you. Moving on to the gun here, it doesn't have a turret, but the turret rotation speed is going to be 26 degrees a second there. And of course, the accuracy is going to be like 1.24. Max elevation is 18 degrees with depression being 6 degrees. It's not the greatest at all because, again, it's a casemate TD. So the gun doesn't really have much to work with. It's a low-profile silhouette much anyway, despite it still being big. Yaw limit, the gun can swivel 10 degrees to either side. Again, not the greatest, but it's a casemate. What are you going to do there? And you get to make up for that with some pretty good hull rotation of 30 degrees a second there to make up for that. Reload time on the 120 is 38 seconds base there. You can get that faster with like food and vents. Rate of fire is going to be 7.5 rounds a minute and a base accuracy of 0.34. With the 6.0 update, everything got super accurate, so you can make that go down to almost laser beam style there, even though it will kind of be a little derpy in terms of accuracy sometimes. Aim time 2.3, not too bad, but it could be better. If you throw gun lane drive on there, you can improve that as well. And again, the 120 has 6 shots, almost like the old waffle, if I remember correctly, but this actually has armor. So yeah, and then as I said with the pen values there, like I said, the standard rounds will do work. It's got 257 millimeters of pen at 100 meters and 237 meters millimeters at 500 meters. And of course, with the premium, that is 325 and 297 respectively. HE is going to be 65 across the board. It's HE. I don't run HE in this because again, it's a clip style autoloader, and with a long reload time, it's just something that I don't have. I find needless. When am I going to need 6 shots of HE unless everything left is going to be super lightly armored, and that's almost never the case. I keep mentioning waffle. Why is that? Well, with a intra-clip reload of like 2 seconds, it's typically French there. Almost all the French tanks that I can remember have a 2-second intra-clip reload. So you are and with the 120 and 6 shots, you can basically clip out almost everything on the battlefield. So, just like the waffle there. But again, you have the armor. So you can actually withstand, some shots if they're just kind of auto-aiming, taking a bigger chance with the waffle. Now, we're going to see here where I get taken out just because the Turan shot first, and I'm like, I was ready for you. What the heck happened? Where did you pen me? I'm communicating, ready to defend the base. I thought I was pretty concealed or in a position to where they won't be able to hit me, and you're just going to see here that what happens is like, again, like, what? But, to me, the Turan is preferred. I jumped the gun and shot too early. I was expecting momentum to carry him forward more, and, it did not. But at least I was avenged by the Death Star. But, yeah, we can see that I'm like, where the heck did you pen me? Of course, it's a Turan, so what do I expect? But, that's pretty much it for that replay. We're going to go and take a look here at the stats once I skip to the post-battle results screen there. But, Foch 155 with the 120 millimeter gun, my preferred gun. However, with the 155, we will discuss my thoughts on that in just a moment. So, skipping to the end of the game, we can see that it was a victory. Despite dying, I did end up second on the leaderboards there with 5,054 raw and 942 assisted, with a total of almost 6K combined. And of course, like I said in closing remarks for this specific tank gun, it's my preferred one. I like the flexibility of the 120. However, I know that people like the 155. So let's go jump into that replay and take a look at that gun. Alrighty, so we are on Mountain Pass with the 155 millimeter gun. Firstly, allow me to apologize. The audio got corrupted, so there's no audio. It was fine when I recorded it about a week and a half ago and listened to it back. But accessing it into this program, for some reason, it got corrupted. Not talking about any of the vehicle stats itself. We're just going to focus on the gun because a lot of stuff changed there. One of the few things regarding the gun that didn't change that you would expect to change is the elevation, depression, and yaw limits. Those did not change, which when Wargaming models guns, the breech is also modeled, and that breech inside affects the elevation, depression, and yaw limits of guns in tanks. And with a bigger breech on this gun compared to the 120, you'd expect those to change. Thankfully, they did not. Reload time, though, however, did change. With a bigger shell comes a longer reload of 50 seconds base that can be brought down with vents, but you're not going to have a you're not going to have a super fast reload speed with this gun here. Rate of fire is 3 rounds per minute. Yes, you see 3 shots in that clip. So, with these reloads, you are only going to get 3 shots off in a minute. Accuracy is a little bit worse than the 120 millimeter gun at 0.36, but again, you can get that down to definitely workable levels. Now, aim time is worse than the 120 at 3 seconds base. That's definitely not good. You want to use gun lane drive for that, unless you're okay just waiting seconds for that thing to actually get down to full aiming. Intraclip reload also was changed for balancing purposes. It is now 5 seconds instead of that famous 2-second intraclip reload. If you had 2 seconds, you'd be slinging 3 shells downrange in quick succession and definitely taking large chunks of health off tanks or outright clipping them out entirely. Ammo capacity, of course, is going to be 30, which is far less than the 120 millimeter gun there. With the penetration values, at 100 meters, you got 293, 395, and 90 respectively. And then at 500 meters, you got 283, 395, and 90 millimeters respectively there. Yeah, I wouldn't bother with HE on this here just because of the fact of the super long reload. There's literally no point, and I'm always going to advocate that there is no point in loading HE on an auto-loading vehicle just because of that long reload time there, unless it's like one of the tier 6s or, like one of the tier 6s where you've got like a 6-second clip reload, but even at those tiers, like the HE is almost worthless. So we can see here that the 155, you can definitely make it work. You can do the damage that you need. You can scare and make the enemy tanks have cause for concern, especially if they know that you have the 155. Many times have I thought that someone had a 120 millimeter gun, and I would just be like, I tracked you. I may take that one shot, and then I'll, in my attempt to get around you, because I see that you're not repairing. And then I roll out in front of them, and I end up eating like 770 HP for that shot instead of like the, the 300 or so that I was expecting. Not 300, like, the average 120 millimeter damage there. Now, once they know that you have the 155, yeah, typically they will take you much more seriously unless you are alone. Otherwise, they're going to just, they know that you have that long intraclip reload, and they'll use that 5 seconds to maneuver and get either to position or roll out, track you, and then flank you. So we can see right now, at least in this gameplay here, that we're on a losing flank. I decided that I need to stop trying to support the rear there. We had enough tanks there, and we were losing this flank, so I moved back to try and help support. Or, at the very least, I wanted to at least stall for time to allow my team to finish up a flank and then either push that flank to their base or come back and help here. And we can see here that, again, even in a dire strait like this where you are basically alone, you are scary. Don't ever auto-aim with this vehicle, as you saw there. Or it may just be me having absolutely horrible luck with auto-aiming. Second shot takes care of the 2A3. You may have considered that a wasted round, but, I mean, again, that tank could have 1 HP and it would still be a threat because it's still a gun in the fight. And in this situation right here where, you are outnumbered, or maybe you think you're alone, you need to take every gun out of the fight that you can. And, that how much damage you deal is irrelevant in that situation. I'm sure, though, that Mo hunters are going to be like, I would have ignored him anyway and gone for a 700 damage shot. Well, I'd rather survive longer than just go out early in the game and have, maybe 400 more damage. E75 rolls up. I put one shot into him. Unfortunately, now I am stuck reloading with an AVRE in front of me. The UDES took care of the E75, so I didn't have to worry about that. Then the UDES died. There's nothing I can do in this situation. And I was backing up, and unfortunately, I rolled up to a hill, and he just shot me right in the roof of the casemate, and that was my game. So anyway, let's go skip to the post-battle results and see how we did. Alrighty, so we managed to win this game as well. I turned out to snag the MVP slot here with 3 kills, 5,749 raw damage. and 73 assisted, just making over 5,800 combined. Sadly, only a class 2. I don't know how to make of that. Probably not enough damage. But yeah, both guns are workable. Pick your poison, really, if you want the high damage but low rate of fire, or the consistent 120 millimeter gun with occasional what the heck moments. But that's going to do it for today's episode. I'd like to thank you all for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe for more, and let me know what you think of this type of video. And until next time, this has been Darren of WoTC Academy. Extra credits. Take it easy.